Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. For the first time in years, Washington, D.C. now has something rare than a balanced budget and more unexpected than a quiet cable news panel. Bipartisan outrage. From Jon Stewart on the left to Senator John Fetterman in the center to Newsmax hosts on the right, nearly everybody is hammering Donald Trump's effort to give $1.8 billion to Trump allies convicted during the Biden administration.
This is our money. I mean, do we even have a Congress or a court?
Did you see that? The actual amount, too, is 1.776. It's too cute.
It's all Orwell. It's all a troll. Everything they're doing is a troll to us. This is against the weaponization of it, and it's patriotic. They're trolling us. His entire career is a troll.
Recently, the Trump administration's Attorney General Todd Blanche refused to rule out giving money to the January 6th rioters who attacked police, got convicted, and went to jail. The Department of Justice will issue the funds privately. Jon Stewart noted the contrast with his efforts to help American heroes, including the 9/11 first responders.
You know how hard we fought to get 9/11 first responders some health care for the thing? And they always told... And that was not much more.
Yep.
And these guys just drop it down. By the way, it's not transparent. They don't have to tell you where they're doing it, how they're deciding it, who's getting the money. None of it. We're in the upside down. And everything that you thought that there would be at some point, it really, you know what it reminds me of? You ever see those videos where like a horde of teens flies into like a CVS and just starts taking shit?
Mm-hmm. Smash and grab.
Smashing. And everybody's just standing around like, is anybody going to call somebody, or are we just going to... Like, that's what we are. The Trump administration is a smash and grab on the American public, on the taxpayer. It is the most corrupt, just utterly unsheathed, unleashed on us, and they are just grabbing whatever they can and pretending that it's remuneration for some victimhood that they faced. That's all fictitious. It's nonsense.
It's also unconstitutional, and that's according to centrist Democratic Senator John Fetterman and according to the legal analyst and host on Newsmax, the conservative cable channel to the right of Fox News.
I agree with Senator Fetterman here. I have issues with this, and I'm just not sure how you can be the defendant and the on both sides of this lawsuit. It's the Trump. Right. It's Trump against Trump.
That's a reference to the $10 billion lawsuit Trump filed against the IRS in January for leaking his tax returns in 2019. Trump is both the plaintiff and the defendant since the IRS reports to the president. Here is Newsmax senior legal analyst Andrew Napolitano.
Two major constitutional issues here. The first you raised. This is not a real lawsuit. There's no case or a controversy. The president no person can be on both sides. In my view, Todd Blanche has very serious ethical issues because he signed this agreement knowing he works for the plaintiff. That's issue number one. Issue number two is the one Senator Fetterman raised. Okay. Where's the money coming from? Congress didn't authorize this. That Obama fund that the government cites as a precedent was expressly authorized by the Congress. The Constitution says no money shall be spent from the public treasury but that which has been appropriated by Congress.
The declarations that this is unconstitutional and corrupt are echoing far beyond television studios. Fiscal conservatives are asking why taxpayers should finance massive settlements connected to political battles. Civil libertarians are warning that tying compensation to political loyalty would transform justice into a partisan spoil system. Democrats and Republicans in both the U.S. House and Senate are lashing out.
My first reaction was this doesn't pass the smell test.
It sends a signal, hey, go breach the Capitol, destroy the building, assault police officers, and you may even get compensated for someday. That's absurd.
Every policy issue that I look at it through the lens of what impact is this going to have on affordability.
And you think this weaponization fund is a waste of taxpayer dollars?
I think that would be putting it mildly.
I have like almost zero confidence in the DOJ right now. And so let's go back and try and regain some of that confidence before we talk about any money.
He just wants to continue to use the budget of the United States illegally as a political slush fund for his foot soldiers.
Trump just wants to use the U.S. budget as a slush fund for his foot soldiers. Trump insists the effort is about accountability, not favoritism for what he calls government weaponization.
We're reimbursing those people for their legal fees and for their costs and for anybody involved.
But there is already a fund when the government gets sued, loses, and has to pay out. In this case, the Trump fund could give money to allies tried and convicted for assaulting police officers. And while many Republicans are joining Democrats in speaking out and condemning the Trump fund, there are some Republicans, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, who are staying silent or say they don't know enough to make a judgment. Those Republicans refusing to cross Donald Trump are enabling his corruption. And as Jon Stewart noted, that's a very different political environment than what another highly controversial president faced.
John, if you had to vote for one, Nixon or Trump?
Nixon. If only to get the EPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Nixon at this point would be considered a gay communist in today's Republican Party.
Yeah, Watergate is cute now.
Watergate, yeah, like, wait a minute. You hired a couple of guys to break into a thing? That's adorable. I mean, Nixon, and by the way, Spiro Agnew went down because of a slush fund. It was just a little hint of a slush fund. But think about that in comparison to $1.8 billion of taxpayer money.
In today's America, finding common ground between liberal comics, conservative media personalities, and lawmakers across the spectrum is nearly impossible. Yet this Trump controversy has done exactly that. And everybody is asking the same question. When does political loyalty stop being rhetoric or violence and start becoming an invoice sent to the American taxpayer? That question now hangs over Washington, D.C. like a thundercloud. And for Donald Trump, the storm is coming from both directions. By the way, a new poll has the Trump White House in a complete panic.
Democrats have an 11-point lead in the congressional ballot, the generic congressional ballot in that New York Times poll, but a 14-point lead with likely voters. The 11-point lead with registered voters, the 14-point lead with likely voters, and in a midterm election, that likely voter number matters even more. We know that midterm elections often, there's a lot of it's about enthusiasm. These are people who say they're absolutely for certain going to run. We've seen that advantage for Democrats all along. But if you put a 14-point congressional ballot lead together with the president's numbers, 43 points underwater with independent voters, I'm not predicting anything because I don't make predictions anymore. But that is the kind of thing that you see when a wave is building and when a wave is coming.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Rebecca, who wrote, "As Dump said, he doesn't give a damn about us." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about Jon Stewart on the left and Newsmax on the right finding common ground against Donald Trump. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.